Greeting to all. I extend my warmest wishes of a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to each and every one of you, depending on where you are joining us from today. As for myself, I am currently located in Seoul, South Korea, where the weather is bright and sunny with a temperature of 27 Celsius. My name is Ki-bum Kim, and I am a professor in Department of Forensic Science at Sungkyunkwan University with a research focus on cybercrime investigation, digital forensics, cybersecurity policy, and international development cooperation in these areas. Before we commence with our session, I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to all those involved in the Cybersecurity Revolution 2023, and to say that it is an immense honor to be here as a co-organizer for the second year in a row. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my insight and the research on digital forensics and cybersecurity with fellow researchers from around the globe. I'm excited to begin the first session of the Cybersecurity Revolution 2023, which is titled Digital Forensics for Cybersecurity. In this session, I will be sharing some of my latest research on the subjects, and I look forward to engaging in a productive and insightful discussion with all of you. This session will last for 2 hours and will conclude promptly at 11 Korea time. Thank you for your attention, and let us get started. Dear distinguished attendees, it is my honor to introduce the 5 esteemed presenters who will be sharing their research and insight with us today. Each presenter is a researcher at Sungkyunkwan University, and their work has contributed greatly to the field of digital forensics and cybersecurity. Without further ado, let me introduce our first presenter, Ji-young Ha, who will be presenting on the topic of the artifact analysis and the forensic framework design for Vault applications. As many of you may know, Vault app refers to an invisible app that is hidden in the smartphone. Our second presenter is Eun-ji Lee, who will be discussing identification of data wiping tools behavior in early FS. For those unfamiliar, RLF is a Microsoft proprietary file system introduced with the Windows Server 2012 with the intent of becoming the next generation file system after NTFS. Next up, we have Sang-eun Lee, who will be presenting on the topic of acquisition of cryptocurrency restoration information in memory. Restoration information refers to password, mnemonic code, and the private keys required to transfer and confiscate cryptocurrencies. Our first presenter is Jung-soo Choi, who will be discussing the necessity and the legal issues of introducing NIT in Korea. NIT, Network Investigative Technique, is a form of investigation method using code and hacking, designed to provide access to a computer. The UK is using equipment interference, IE, with the same meaning. Last but not least, Eun-ji Kim will be presenting on the topic of tracking user behavior in cloud services with MFT timestamp analysis. As you know, MFT timestamp refers to the file time that MFT has in the NFS file system. Each presenter will speak for 20 to 25 minutes, followed by a Q&A session where they will take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. You can ask some questions directly or leave them in a Zoom chat. Thank you for your attention. And let us begin with our first presenter, Ji-Young Ha. It's my pleasure to introduce the first distinguished presenter of this session, Ji-Young Ha, a master student. Mr. Ha has been involved in the various research projects related to medical imaging forensics and the proficiency test for digital forensics. Her area of expertise include digital forensics, anti-forensics, mobile forensics, and the cybercrime investigation. Today, Ms. Ha will present her research on artifact analysis and the forensic framework design for VORTEP application. Please join me in giving a big round of applause to our first presenter.
Hello, thank you for giving me a great opportunity to present my research. I'm Ji-Young Ha, and I'm here to share the results of my research. The title is Artifact Analysis and Forensic Framework Design for VORTEP Application. And I'm with Seongkyungwan University Digital Forensic Lab. I'm involved in two projects. First, the project is digital forensic about medical imaging for detecting forgery file. Second, we design Korea Laboratory Accreditation Scheme Proficiency Test Program in digital forensic field. And I'm interested in anti-forensic, mobile, and cybercrime. If you are interested, please contact to mail. Now, I will begin the presentation. First, introduce the topic and explain the VORTEP application. Second, a review of related research in the field. Third, I will explain our experimental design, and next, analysis result. The fifth section focuses on the evidence analysis framework design that was developed based on the findings of the research. Lastly, the conclusion provides a summary of the research. In 2021, the number of digital evidence analysis case was 75,420, and a significant 77.7% of this case involved mobile devices. According to recent data, smartphone users in Korea reached 54 million. This figure is 97% of the population using them. Unfortunately, the rise in smartphone use has also led to an increase in illegal filming crimes. I will now introduce three cases. First, a real criminal was caught secretly filming a woman passing through a bathroom window. He used a smartphone with a hidden camera application installed. Although the default photo gallery did not contain any incriminating evidence, digital forensics allowed for the discovery of the illegal video, leading to the successful prosecution of the offender. Second, a subway police officer confiscated a cell phone from a criminal who had secretly filmed a female passenger's body. Despite checking the phone's photo folder, the officer was unable to find the incriminating photo. However, by examining the recent list of running programs, the officer discovered a silent shooting application disguised as a normal app. Last, VORTEP application disguised as normal apps have concealed criminal evidence or hindered investigation. For instance, a hidden camera application was disguised as an internet news screen and took pictures in silence. The application saved the photos to a different path in the phone than the default folder. It makes it difficult to find hidden camera evidence and hindering the investigation. As such, the VORTEP application developed to protect personal information in mobile is being abused for the purpose of concealing criminal evidence, not its original purpose. The application generally restricts access through password and protects media safely. so users can protect themselves from risks such as invasion of privacy. But criminals can also use it to conceal illegal media used in crimes. If photos or videos taken at a crime scene are concealed using a BERT application, it will be difficult for law enforcement agents to obtain evidence. So it is important to analyze the BERT application and obtain the original ROCKed media in this situation. Before I start my research detail, I prepared a view to understand the BERT application. This video is going to last 30 seconds. First, you can see the pictures in the default gallery album. And we run the BERT application that looks like a calculator. And we enter the app password. Then choose the pictures or videos you want to hide. And choose the video. And so we can confirm the hidden media in the app. Finally, we cannot see the media in the default gallery. I explained some related research. First, he analyzed the artifacts of BERT application, code encryption, and the possibility of original data recovery. And he found vulnerabilities in encryption and restored the original, and analyzed whether each application source code was obfuscated or encrypted. Second, he decrypted passwords, BIOS, and database of the calculator Photosport app to acquire original data and the analysis method. For the research, we used Samsung Galaxy S10e Android 12. We conduct only in the Android environment. All analysis was conducted in the Windows 11 environment. Analysis was performed with root privilege and USB debugging mode enabled on the Samsung Galaxy S10e. And data extraction was performed through ADB, and we used the support software is Hexa Editor or DB Browser for SQLite. There are 30 applications selected from the Google Play Store. This is the Android market. In the experiment, we assumed that the suspect rocked the media. It was impossible to recover the original media from the camera directory, cast, thumbnail, and the original media could be restored only with the data inside the application. The Samsung Galaxy S10e used in the experiment obtained root privilege and prepared for the experiment through a 4-step preparation procedure. The procedure is first, install the BERT application in the mobile. And second, set the application password. Third, set the security question for password. And finally, rock the media. By analyzing the directories created by BERT application with an Android device, it is possible to obtain rocked media, database, and artifact information. The data directory is created upon installing an application and is an internal storage directory. It is a unique directory that cannot be accessed by other applications. 13 out of 30 applications use this directory to rock their media. And then the storage emulate 0 directory is an external storage directory that can be accessed by all applications. 17 out of 30 applications use this directory to rock their media. We extracted rocked media files from the internal directories of the applications and analyzed whether the file names and extension had been changed. Out of 30 applications, 11 files changed the file names and 16 files changed the extension. The changed file name and extensions can be verified through the database. we discovered that there are applications that hide media files by modifying their signature. For example, the app inserts a rock-shaped photo data at the beginning of the media file so that the rock appears first when the media is viewed. However, even if the data has been modified, if the original information is still hidden in the internal data, it can be recovered by modifying the data. If I remove the rock-shaped photo data, it reveals the original data hidden at the back. We could extract password by analyzing artifact documents in the internal directory of each application. Artifact documents for each application can be found in the share prep folder. These documents contain various information such as the application password or path to Rock Media and recovery email. In the experiment, we found that 20 out of 30 applications wrote their password in plain text. Additionally, 4 applications stored password in their database, which can be used to unlock the application and access the original data. Many BERT applications disguise as various other apps, such as calculator or clock, in order to hide themselves. When you access the BERT application, the main screen is displayed as normal clock app or calculator app. If you enter the password or characters, the screen changes to the BERT application. If we can find the password for the app from the database, we can obtain the original media file easily. If the file name and extension have been changed, the original file name and extension in the database can be acquired to obtain the original. If a normal signature cannot be found in the media data, it can be assumed encrypted. In the case, if keys or IV values hard code in the application source code, an artifact used in encryption algorithm is discovered, locked media can be decrypted. It is important to recover original evidence when investigating case used BERT application. This is a flowchart for a forensic analysis framework developed based on the previous described information. It is divided into external storage exploration or internal storage exploration, with the original acquisition process and encryption detection process in the middle. After going through this process, the analysis is completed either by obtaining the original or by concluding the analysis without acquiring the original. It is the detailed condition for selecting the direction in the flowchart. Conclusion. In this study, we analyzed the internal directories, database, artifacts file, and other components of 30 BERT application to acquire original media data. Finally, we designed a forensic analysis framework. When criminals hide illegal videos or images using BERT application, law enforcement agency must obtain the original media to prove the crime. Criminals can use a variety of BERT applications to commit crimes. So, understanding the path and characteristic of each application in advance can lead to faster and more accurate crime investigation. We conduct an experiment to identify 30 application directory addresses and locked media and secure the original data of the media based on this. We acquired the original data not only from hidden data, but also from cases where file names or extension were changed. Through artifact analysis, we extracted the BERT application password and identified vulnerabilities in the application. Based on the result, we designed a forensic analysis framework This framework is expected to contribute to the application-related investigation and increase the effectiveness of crime prevention and investigation. Despite the analysis of 30 BERT applications, there were limitations. First, evidence collection from mobile devices required the device to be unlocked and USB debugging to be enabled. Since most mobile device users lock their device, the device must be unlocked by the users to obtain the necessary data. Second, the analysis was performed only on smartphone based on the Android. iOS system was not conducted. Therefore, further research on the iOS system is necessary. Third, obtaining root privilege is necessary to fully restore locked media files in all applications, but obtaining root privilege on the latest Android device is not easy. Therefore, further research is needed in this area. Thank you for listening. I hope that you all enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. It is so interesting. It is a great start. I agree that Ms. Har did an excellent job presenting her research on detecting fraud applications that conceal illegal media files on smartphones. Her study involved analyzing 30 applications to identify the facts about the applications, concealment method, and the passwords. Her finding can help a forensic investigator to identify and extract the fraud application in smartphone, which is crucial in investigating cyber crimes. So, do you have any question? And if you have some question, please leave the message in chatting room. And if there is no question, I would like to ask one or two questions to the speaker. May I ask about the criteria that you used for selecting the 30 BERT applications analyzed in your research?
We selected application for analysis based on their high download counts, even though there are still many applications available.
During your analysis, you found some password in some BERT application, while others did not reveal password. Could you explain the reason for not finding password in certain apps? What is the reason?
The study did not include applications that perform encryption, although we analyzed approximately the encryption application through the study, but we could not find hardcode IV or key values, as their internal codes were either encrypted or obfuscated.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me introduce our next presenter, Eunji Lee, a master's student on research at the Digital Forensic Lab of Sungkyunkwan University. Ms. Lee has an extensive research background, including a recently published paper on standard model for mobile forensic image development in 2023. Ms. Lee's research interests include computer forensics, anti-forensics, and artificial intelligence for digital forensics. Today, she will be presenting her latest work entitled Identification of Data Wiping Tools, Behavior in Early FS. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Good morning, my name is Eunji Lee from Sungkyunkwan University. I'm pleased to share my research with you today. I will be presenting on the topic of identification of data wiping tool behavior in REFS. I'm master course and researcher at Digital Forensic Lab in Sungkyunkwan University. My research interests include computer forensics, anti-forensics, and artificial intelligence. The presentation will be structured according to following agenda. REFS was developed as a replacement for the NTFS file system, offering improved stability and performance. As REFS become more widespread, its impact on digital investigation grows increasingly significant. Securely erasing data is crucial in the digital investigation to prevent sensitive information from following in the criminal. REFS has fewer artifacts than other file systems, partly due to being a non-bootable system. However, the unique characteristic of REFS can be difficult for digital forensic analysts, as traditional tools may not be effective in analyzing this file system and identifying user behavior. The goal of my research is to develop a method for identifying REFS file system, which can be useful for digital forensics and incident response investigations. The first goal is to analyze the function and algorithms of 10 tools. Second is to find wiping behavior. Last is to automate wiping detection by implementing the tools. In this part, I will introduce REFS background theory for research experiments. REFS is maximize data availability and provides data integrity along with resiliency against corruption. It is designed to maximize data ability scale efficiently to large data set across diverse workloads. And REFS is journaling file system. It has journal files such as change journal and log file in order to record action and changes. Log file includes type of behavior, file name, time information. So we can see more the just presence of or absence of behavior. This is the related work that REFS log file about normal file action. The study pattern file creation and file name modification and file content change. The methodology proceed in the following order. We analyze 10 wipe tools, function, and algorithms. Second, we extract continuous code in ladder record. And then we pattern if it within one log file and the LSM value are the same. Last, we apply a structure analysis method to the data wiping tools to create pattern and automate these tasks to detect the execution of the wiping tool. Before extract code, we have to know that log file structure. REFS log file structure contains of log file entry, which is composed of header and log record. The transaction data is composed of table path and data area. This is the way to extract code and connect them to make pattern. The left show is location to code and LSM value. The right shows only the code to be used in the study. This is the result of analysis 10 wiping tools function. The tools provide the delete function of files and directories by default and support the removal of unnecessary files, recycle bin, and drive cleanup. We found that the delete function provides one or more algorithms and is true. It includes at least 4 different algorithms. table introduced the feature for the tools. We experiment with the general deletion pattern first before wiping tool deletion. This general pattern was clearly distinguishable from those caused by tool deletion. Analyzing the OP code of raw file after deletion file with the data wiping tools, we found a common pattern. One is the general file name change pattern, and one is the general deletion pattern. This can be interpreted as a wiping tool that changes the file name several times internally and eventually delete the file. Directories are also divided into name change pattern and deletion pattern, but OP code appears differently from file deletion. This is the result of wiping tool pattern. This tool changes the number of the repetition of the interval according to the number of paths of algorithm. Each file shredder, hard wipe, superfile shredder, turbo shredder belongs it. These tools do not change pattern by algorithms, so marked error. File shredder, kernel file shredder, PC shredder, lemur file eraser, X shredder, XT shredder belongs it. File and directory name transition can be also observed in the metadata area, where the rename pattern appears. As shown in the table, name transition had different characteristics for its tools. In some cases, it was rapidly composed of capital letters, such as kernel file shredder, and in others, it was composed of random alphabets, such as hard wipe. When identifying the difference in the file name change together, it is possible to distinguish between OP code pattern even if they are duplicated. We implemented a tool using a proposed method of analyzing OP codes using log file structure and detecting data wiping tool in Python. In conclusion, we found that deletion pattern can be effectively utilized in the investigation. Through our analysis of 10 tools using data wiping algorithm, we discovered various patterns with different results for each algorithm, and found that the tools with the same pattern regardless of the algorithm used. It is worth noting that there may be difference in the result when the RFS version is updated. Overall, these findings highlight the importance of considering deletion pattern when conducting investigation and the potential benefit of utilizing them in forensic analysis. Thank you for your attention and following me to share this finding with you today. I hope this presentation has been informative and useful in your work. Please ask the question if you have any further question or would you discuss this result in more detail. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. There was an excellent presentation. The presenter demonstrated the ability to identify the wiping tool used when a file is deleted from the RFS file system by analyzing OP code patterns of 10 wiping tools. So please leave some question to the website. So if you ask some question, I will deliver this question to the presenter. During you make some question, would you like to ask 3 questions to Eunjil Lee? What lead you to select the RLF as file system for your research? I know now RLF as a file system is not popular in South Korea, in all around the world. I think it is the next generation of file system of Windows. So given the wide variety of file system available, why did you choose RLFS in particular?
NTFS has already been extensively researched, and the RLFS with its novel features such as block cloning, sparse, BDR, and file level snapshot has aroused our interest and demonstrated potential for further development beyond the NTFS offers. This is why we choose RLFS.
And as you analyze the OP code patterns, did you encounter any errors or difficulties in testing the wiping tools? Were there any instance in which you may have missed something in your experiment?
While analyzing, there were errors in pattern discovery initially due to various allegations and unexpected factors. However, we identified the root cause through repeated verification and performed the necessary correction. Currently, we are able to distinguish without any errors.
In the chat room, Dr. Michael Joyce raised one question. Do you think that this technique could be used for compliance purpose to ensure that disposed hard drive have been wiped effectively? Okay, I will mention. He asked the purpose of your research. So this research it has a purpose to find the evidence of suspects. So some suspect can delete some data using the wiping tool. At the time, the digital forensic analysts needed to, sometimes they needed to improve, they need to prove which the suspect used, which tool the suspect use in deletion. So this research can prove which tool the suspect use in the crime scene and in the compliance, I think. And I would like to give a question. Do you have any plans for further analysis based on your current findings?
In the further, we plan to include 2 additional tools to obtain analysis result for a total of 12. We also intend to verification section.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, do you have any question? Okay, thank you, Ms. Lee. Okay. The third presenter is Sang-eun Lee, a PhD student and researcher at the Digital Forensic Lab of Sungkyunkwan University. Her presentation is titled Acquisition of Digital Asset Restoration Information in Memory. Prior to her research career, she worked as a web programmer in Japan and has published several papers. Several papers or some papers, I don't know, including digital forensic methodology for detection of abnormal flight of drones, and a study of the status and improvement measures of suicide response by police. If you have some time, please find this title in Google. You can find the paper. Her research interests include cryptocurrency forensic, drone forensic, and industrial security. Please start.
Hello, my name is Sang-eun Lee. This is my great honor to attend this seminar. The topic I will introduce today is the acquisition of cryptocurrency restoration information in memory. I'm in PhD course in Department of Forensic Science, and my major is digital forensics. I worked as a web programmer in Japan, and now I'm in digital forensic lab in Sungkyunkwan University, Seoul in Korea. I had research about drone voice phishing, industrial security, building digital forensic labs, and I wrote some papers about drone and drone. This is my contents. There are 4 sections. At first, the background and problem statement. The existing currency is operated mainly by banks, which are central systems, but cryptocurrencies operate as blockchain networks. Because of the characteristics of cryptocurrency, anonymity, it is used for various crimes such as ransomware, drug transactions, and sexual exploitations. The number of crimes using cryptocurrency is increasing, and the amount of damage caused by them is also increasing. Crime methods using cryptocurrencies are also evolving. So, US, Australia, UK issued a joint cybersecurity advisory outlining posed by ransomware. In May 2021, American pipeline company Colonial Pipelines has been infected by ransomware. Ransomware attack suspends pipeline operation for 6 days. Oil stocks run out. Some states declare state of emergency. There was economic and social damage from the ransomware attack. In this case, it can be seen that ransomware attacks on critical information infrastructure cause great confusion for companies and countries. There is no cases in Korea yet, but need to prepare for ransomware attacks on critical information infrastructure. So, when researching online for a piece used for money laundering of cryptocurrencies, it is necessary to review the possibility of confiscation through memory analysis and whether the information necessary for confiscation of wallets and cryptocurrencies according to the user section and access time remains. Section 2, experiment on the presence of restoration information in cryptocurrency. Restoration information means a mnemonic code consisting of necessary English words and a secret key with access to all assets when recovering a cryptocurrency wallet. This restoration information can be found in the memory of the PC, and it totalized over time. This is our experiment environment setups. We install wallet at Windows 10 virtual machine and use Dumptit and 010 editor for analysis. We choose six wallets. Three Monero BitPay Coinomi is software wallet, and remain three MetaMask Phantom Kaikas is browser wallet. Cryptocurrency can be confiscated by acquiring either the mnemonic code or the wallet secret key. We conducted an experiment to determine whether restoration information remains according to the user section and over time. For 60 minutes, we conducted an experiment to see if there is restoration information in the memory over time by confirming user actions such as creating a wallet account, spending and receiving cryptocurrency, shutting down a wallet program. The experiment method is there are 6 steps in 6 minutes. In 1 minute, create account. 10 minutes, we receive cryptocurrency. 20 minutes, we transmit cryptocurrency. And 30 minutes, we close Chrome or program. At 44 minutes, we log in the account. And at 45 minutes, we delete program. After each step, acquire memory with snapshots every minute over. After experimenting for 60 minutes, analysis whether restoration information remains in the required memory. This is Monero wallet. Restoration information is account address, private key, private payment key. This feature is when the close or delete program can check account address, private key, private payment key. When logging the account, we can check restoration information key after more than an hour regardless of user action. But we cannot find mnemonic code. This is BitPay. Restoration information is mnemonic code, wallet private key. BitPay's feature is during the program operation, we can check the restore information. From 1 minute after close of program, we cannot check mnemonic code and wallet private key. When logging the account, we can check restoration information. When delete the program, totalized within 1 minute, cannot check restoration information. Restoration information on Coinomi is mnemonic code. The feature of Coinomi is about 2 minutes after account creation, restoration information can be obtained. And about 4 minutes, volatile after remaining. And when receive or transmit cryptocurrency can check restoration information. When delete the program, totalized within 1 minute, cannot check restoration information. Restoration information of MetaMask is mnemonic code and wallet secret, wallet private key. Feature is MetaMask feature is same with the BitPay. During the program operation, we can check the restore information. From 1 minute after close the program, we cannot check mnemonic code and wallet private key. When logging the account, we can check restoration information. When delete the program, totalized within 1 minute, cannot check restoration information. Phantom's restoration information is mnemonic code and wallet private key. Feature is after close and delete extension program, we can find private key. When logging the account, we can check private key after more than an hour regardless of user action, but we cannot find mnemonic code. Restoration information in KiCas is mnemonic code and wallet private key. Feature of KiCas is during program operation, we can check restore information. From 1 minute after close Chrome, we cannot check mnemonic code. We can check wallet private key. When logging the account, we can check restoration information. When delete extension program, mnemonic code fertilized within a minute, so we can check a private key. In section 3, propose a regular expression that can obtain the restoration information remaining in the memory and verification of cryptocurrency asset, confiscation tool functionality. This is introduce how to configure the restoration information dataset. We create 20 to 30 account per cryptocurrency wallet and build a recovery information sharing dataset. Regulation expressions are defined by analyzing the form of restoration information in memory. Made in consideration of the possibility of user saving or copy and pasting in planning test form on the disk. Create a total of 6 Windows 10 virtual machines, one for each wallet with VMware Workstation 16. Each pitch has 24 programs similar to a typical user-written environment. Installing the cryptocurrency wallet, create the account, save, restore information in Notepad on desk, and copy and paste the saved restore information to proceed with wallet installation. We use F1 score for verification. F1 score is machine learning matrix which is used in classification model. In this result, there are many words. TP is true positive and TN is false negative. TF is false positive. TP is prediction data and experiment data is it means prediction data and experimental data is same. FN false negative means predict the data is raw but really it's not. FP false positive is we predict the data is high but really it's not. Record is really true. Record means it is really true. We predict it true. Precision means we predict it's true. After experiment, it really true. This is Monero verification result of restoration information acquisition function. As a result of experimenting with Monero, there are certain mnemonic code in PC memory. We obtain 10, cannot obtain 3. There are 8 account addresses are remain and obtain all of them. There are 16 private key. Private payment key and we obtain 11. F1 score verification result, mnemonic code is 87%. Account address is 100%. Private payment key and private key is 0.2%. As a result of experiment with BitPay, there are 19 mnemonic codes in PC memories. We obtain 16 with the 2 and we cannot obtain 3. There are 21 private key. We obtain 17, but we cannot obtain 4. F1 score verification result, mnemonic code is 83% and private key is 90%. This is a result of experiment with Coinomi. Coinomi has 19 mnemonic codes in PC memory. We obtain 16 and we cannot obtain 3. F1 score verification result, mnemonic codes are 93%. This is the result of experimenting with MetaMask. In PC memory, there are 8 mnemonic codes and 14 wallet secret key. In the 8 mnemonic code, we can obtain 7, but we cannot obtain 1. Wallet secret key, we obtain 9 and cannot find 5. The F1 score result is mnemonic code. We can find 67%, but we cannot find. We are not good at wallet private key, so wallet private key is 0.2%. As a result of experiment with Phantom, there are 16 mnemonic codes in PC memory. We obtain 9, cannot obtain 7. There are 10 wallet private key, but we cannot obtain 2, obtain 8. F1 score is mnemonic code is 60% and wallet private key is 1%. As a result of experimenting with KaiCast, in the PC memory, there are 12 mnemonic codes. We obtain 7, cannot obtain 5. Wallet private key, there are 17. There are 25, we obtain 17, we cannot obtain 8. F1 score result is mnemonic code is 61%. Wallet private key is 59%. This is summarize the results. As a result of using tool, which we made based on regular expression, we can confiscate cryptocurrency. Determining whether restoration information can be confiscated about 6 cryptocurrency wallets. We can confiscation cryptocurrency in Monero, BitPay, and Coinomi. Monero and Coinomi, we can obtain mnemonic code, but BitPay, we obtain mnemonic code and wallet private key. But MetaMask, Phantom, KaiCast spend too much time, so it can't confiscate restoration information. Section 4 is utilization and limitations of the research. Significance of this study is determining whether restoration information can be confiscated about 6 cryptocurrency wallets. We suggest regular expression that can be obtained restoration information remaining in memory, and it will be increased convenience when cryptocurrency crimes process are confiscated through regular expressions. Based on this research, cryptocurrency tracking, seizure, and NIT methods can be discussed. This study can be utilized as a way to confiscate the proceeds of the attacker's cryptocurrency crime by ransomware attack, and when make guidelines for responding to ransomware attack against critical information infrastructure, this study can be utilized. There are some limitations in this research. We experiment just 6 wallets: Monero, BitPay, Coinami, MetaMask, Phantom, Kaikas. We excluded from study due to non-acquisition through regular expressions such as a wallet password. We will be revise and supplement this study. We experiment more wallets and segment of types of user action, and we will find more efficient regular expressions, more shorter. Also, the tool which we use for verifications function will be improved, such as ability to list order of probability, and the function of obtain wallet password. Thank you for listening to the presentation.
Thank you for the insightful presentation. In your experiment, you tested 6 cryptocurrencies wallet to determine if restoration information remain in memory. Please give some message. Please give some question to the Zoom chat. And I usually like to add the question about the previous presentation from John Smith. I'm sorry that I made a mistake on the name of the person asking the question. So the previous research can be used in compliance and criminal investigation. In the past, the research can prove whether the criminals use the wiping tools, but this research can even prove which wiping tool the suspect used to delete it. Okay. So please give me or give the speaker some question. Okay, I prepare some question. Have there been any investigation in the law enforcement agencies in South Korea whether cryptocurrency has been confiscated by finding key values in memory, like your research suggests? Do you know you are not a member of the law enforcement agency? Well, I don't know this question is proper or not, but I want to know the information from you. Okay. So, as a supervisor, I would like to say, when we go to the when the police officer or investigator go to the crime scene at the time, it is so important to acquire the password and private key to confiscate the Bitcoin and Ethereum. So in the law enforcement, I know there are many cases, but we don't need to extract the restoration information in memory, because the most suspect give the information about the password and ID, mnemonic code and restoration information to the law enforcement. So sometimes it is easy to confiscate the Bitcoin, but some suspects cannot give the information to the law enforcement. At the time, this research is so invaluable, I think so. And lastly, do you have any plans for further analysis in this field of study? Do you have any plan?
We will study more, experiment more wallet. One of them is one browser wallet and one software wallet. And we choose F1 score to verification, but we have to we will search which one is more effective to verify.
Okay, thank you for your presentation and your answer. Thank you. And the first presenter is Jung-Soo Choi, a master's student, a researcher of Digital Forensic Lab at Sungkyunkwan University. The topic is necessary and legal issues of introducing NIT in Korea. He conducted the research project about the study on the countermeasures against the leakage of key industrial technology personnel by brokers last year. His research interests are criminal law, digital evidence, Budapest Convention from Council of Law, and digital forensics. Please give a round of applause for the presenter. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jung-Soo Choi, and I'm going to present about the necessary and legal issues of introducing NIT in Korea.
Sorry to interrupt. Please speed up. Please turn up your voice a little. Sorry.
Okay. So before starting the presentation, let me introduce my information. I'm a researcher in Sungkyunkwan University Digital Forensics Lab and master course student from the Department of Forensic Science. And my research interests are criminal law and digital evidence. And I'm going to start my presentation. First is introduction of NIT, network investigative technique, which is mainly about discussion of introduction of NIT and concept of NIT with explanation of similar concepts and characteristics of NIT. And part 2 is features of NIT and comparison of Korea with some countries such as United States, United Kingdom, and Germany. Part 3 is about issues of NIT in Korea, mainly about legal issues, such as protection of Communications Secrets Act, Criminal Procedure Act, and Constitution of the Republic of Korea. And part 4 is into legislation of NIT in Korea. I will suggest 2 methods of legislation of a new warrant system and stipulate for NIT targeted for digital information. And I will end up with conclusion in part 4. Now I'll begin with part 1, introduction of NIT. First is discussion of introduction of NIT that due to the rapid development of information and communication technology, it is difficult for investigative agency to search and seize illegal information because it is located in a foreign country. So it is very hard to collect digital evidence. Problems such as these difficulties in offshore search and seizure, interpersonal compulsory disposition, destruction of evidence by suspect, and IP tracking difficulty arises as problem. So what is NIT? The concept of NIT is defined individually and arbitrarily by country. However, it is common that state agencies secretly access other people's systems using technical means such as surveillance software to collect stored data. So I'm going to explain 2 similar concepts of NIT. First is wiretapping and second is extraterritorial search and seizure. Wiretapping is the act of collecting the contents of current telecommunications. This is different from NIT in that the contents of telecommunications that have been transmitted and received, such as messengers, emails, cannot be collected through wiretapping. Second is extraterritorial search and seizure. It is a concept that if the case-related information is stored on another computer connected to which computer searched at the initial search and seizure site, seizing relevant information. Since Korea has not stipulated this separately in law, there are various views on whether it is allowed or not. So I will explain about characteristics of NIT. It is compulsory disposition that secretly collect information which stored on computers such as smartphones, by technical means such as hacking. Surveillance software used for NIT accesses computers connected to the internet and acquires decrypted data before or after encryption to transmit. Using technical means to install and run surveillance software, obtain administrative rights of the suspect's computer system, and send the stored data to the investigative agency's computer. Part 2 is NIT in Korea and foreign countries. First, in Korea, the concept of NIT is not specifically stipulated by law. It is the search process for acquiring digital information, contrasting concept of offline search. From a technical perspective, the state secretly accesses another person's IT system by utilizing security flaws or installing programs such as Trojan horse or backdoor. Second is United States, and in 2016, Chapter 41 of the Federal Code of Criminal Procedure Article B6 was newly established to allow the seizure of electronically stored information through remote access. Electronically stored information can be seized through remote access warrants, but the rules do not define detailed types in the United States. And in the United Kingdom, the concept of NIT is a compulsory disposition to collect communication, equipment data, and etc. processed by the subject's equipment. Communication refers to only stored communication, and it does not include real-time communication. A separate warrant is required to collect this real-time communication in transit. In Germany, Germany is a country that pioneered the introduction of NIT. Germany first defined NIT in 2006 for crime prevention purposes. In PKAG in law in Germany prepares, enforces legal basis regulations for NIT and protects key areas of private life which guaranteed by the Constitution. Third is part 3 is issues in Korea, and I will explain Korean laws such as Protection of Communication, Secret Check, Criminal Procedure Act, and Constitution. Before explaining it, there are confrontation between the pros and cons to introduce NIT in Korea. In Korea, various opinions were presented on the necessity and introducing NIT as means of effective evidence collection in investigation of cybercrime. However, the forced installation of hacking programs against the will of the feature group for NIT may infringe on the basic constitutional rights of the feature group. Therefore, controversy continues over the pros and cons of the introduction. So I will explain the legal issues. So in protection of communications secret check in Korea, the wiretapping is characterized by presentness or simultaneity, but the court does not recognize the act of acquiring the received telecommunications content as wiretapping. However, if the content of the communications stored in the device are collected through NIT, the content of the communication can be collected in real time. The legal basis of NIT may regulated in Protection of Communications Secrets Act. First of all, Article 5 of the Protection of Communications Secrets Act lists crimes that can be restricted to communication as serious crimes. And Article 7, which regulates communication restricting measures for national security, regulates for restricting communication if necessary for national security. And next is Criminal Procedure Act. In Article 118, which regulates presentation of warrant and delivery of copy. But NIT cannot be notified in advance to the person subject to disposal because it is conducted secretly without the parties knowing. And in Article 122, which regulates execution of warrant and notice of presence, no prior notice of the date and place of execution shall be given to the parties at the time of seizure or search, so it can be a problem. Third is Article 123, which regulates execution of warrant and presence of responsible party, but NIT requires a private approach for the prevention of terrorism and national security, so the right to participate cannot be guaranteed. And the last is Constitution of the Republic of Korea. In Article 18, information collected by NIT will also be included in the content of communication protected from freedom of communication secrets. And it is, although it is not regulated in Constitution, but right to self-determination of personal information could be problem. There is no provision, but the Constitutional Court recognized the right to self-determination of personal information through precedent. Information managed by individuals online is also subject to the protection of the right to self-determination of personal information. And part 4 is legislation of NIT in Korea. First is method would be the introduction of a new warrant system. The introduction of a new warrant system in which the specification of time and space reflecting the characteristics of digital information and easing obligation to present warrants. Enforcement by dividing it into national security purposes and criminal investigation purposes could be the method. NIT for investigative purposes is also considered a type of search, and it is stipulated in the Criminal Procedure Act. So NIT for investigative purposes is also considered a type of search. And it would identify targets for NIT with crime-related electronic or digital information. So part 5, and it is last part and conclusion. So in modern society, NIT is inevitable to respond to terrorism and crime using internet communication networks. For the introduction of NIT, in my opinion, it is necessary to come up with measures to minimize the misuse by improving legislation in Korea. Future research would be a study on how to use NIT in practice by investigation agencies, and techniques or technical directions could be researched, and a study on which technology to apply has to be researched. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful presentation. This topic will be very interesting to all audience. Please give some question to the speakers and leave a message. After he analyzed the legislation of NIT in the United States, equipment interference in the US, UK, and Germany, he proposed the South Korea needs to act the ICT law. So I will give 2 questions. If the South Korea enacted the law for NIT or EI, equipment interference, what is the biggest obstacle or what is the biggest objections?
In my opinion, it is important to establish a legal basis. So legislation should be made in the direction of minimizing such as infringement of basic rights under the Constitution, and so these rights should be guaranteed to suspects under the Criminal Procedure Act.
How to overcome these issues you mentioned?
In my opinion, a direction should be made to strengthen judicial control, like 2-step warrant system, and so it is necessary to minimize abuse of NIT and to guarantee the basic rights.
Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Eunjin Kim, a master student and a researcher at the Digital Forensic Lab at Sungkyunkwan University, presenting on the topic, tracking user behavior in cloud services with MFT timestamp analysis. Ms. Kim has conducted research on cloud computing forensics and the next generation footprint search technology using machine learning in 2022. And is interested in the cloud forensics, digital forensic techniques, and the law and policy of intellectual property crimes and the cyber crimes. Now he is working as a technical support for Security Liberation 2023. Please join me in giving a big round of applause to our last presenter.
Hello everyone, this is Eunjin Kim. First of all, it's great honor to be here and to have an opportunity to share our research with you all. The topic that I'm gonna talk about today is tracking user behavior in cloud services with $MFT timestamp analysis. Before the presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm a master's student from the Department of Forensic Science at Sungkyunkwan University, and I'm specializing in digital forensics. My presentation is divided into following parts. Let's now take a look at the introduction. The cloud computing easily stores and manages large amount of data, unlike conventional on-premise computing. The cloud's real-time synchronization function allows users to store and share files in real time on various devices. However, these functions have been exploited for crimes such as the distribution of sexual exploitation material, the leakage of industrial secret, and the spread of illegal content. There are several cases of crime that abuse cloud services. And when investigating the cloud, even if the examiner finds files relate to the crime on the cloud, the suspect may deny the crime, claiming that someone else who uses the same account uploaded the file. And the international cooperation or cloud services providers' help is needed to collect digital evidence from distributed or offshore cloud servers. So the procedure is so complicated that it takes a long time, which makes it difficult to search and seizure the digital evidence. From the forensic point of view, the questions that need to be addressed are as follows. $MFT entry of NTFS file system has 2 attributes and 4 timestamps for each file. The standard information and file name attributes have stored general information of files such as latest creation, access, modification time, owner, etc. The timestamp consists of modified time, access time, create time, and $MFT entry modified time. Our study aims to identify the entity who uploaded or accessed file in the cloud, parsing MACE timestamps of $SI and $FN. Let's move on the second part, experimental design. We analyzed the timestamp patterns of files within sync folder in Dropbox, Google Drive, and Mega Cloud Drive. We use 2 virtual machines to distinguish between local and remote PCs for the experiment. The computer investigation to acquire digital evidence was considered the local PC, while the PC using the cloud for synchronization could be considered the remote PC. And the following tools we are used in experiment. The experimental method is divided into 3 steps. Step 1 is preparation. We created two Windows 10 virtual machines to distinguish between local and remote PCs and synchronized the Cloud Sync folder. We created video files for MP4 in the sync folder on each PC. Step 2 is experiment. The actions was selected as upload, copy, move, and rename. From now on, I'll describe UCMR. The fundamental action type is performed only CMR actions on each file in the sync folder. Step 3 is creating dataset. We extracted the $mft file of the local PC. The extracted file was converted into CSV format to obtain metadata for files in the sync folder. The experimental sequence and type were organized as shown. To determine the difference in timestamp changes depending on whether the unloading PC and the performing PC were the same or different, a total of 7 files were created. 1 file for simple upload and 2 files for each of the 3 CMR actions. And we present 4 types of experiments, performing one action on one file as the basic format and adding variances. The dataset was categorized according to the location of file uploads for each cloud, the location of UCMR actions, and the action performed for each file. We underwent the rearrangement to classify some patterns showing irregular results into the deviation during the analysis in order to exclude or abbreviate them. In each experiment run, we extracted all timestamps data and put them into identical patterns and exception patterns where the results were not consistent regardless of the UCMR action performed on the file. We then drive the permissible final patterns by excluding the patterns from the whole dataset. And we analyze the result by classifying the PCs that upload the files by the kind of cloud service. In case of Dropbox, performing upload or copy on a local PC created a new file in the sync folder. And we found out that each file had the timestamp patterns as shown. The file had the same $sic and $fnmace. When move or rename were performed, file attributes such as path and name was changed, and $sim and $fnm became the same. When the action performed on a remote PC, the timestamp was recorded in the $mft of the local PC via Cloud Sync. Dropbox did not record the fractional part of the timestamp, so when a new file was created on the remote PC, the number was below the decimal point of 10 to 0, and we defined as FP0. When a file uploaded from a remote PC is synchronized to the local PC, the $sim was changed to FP0. Hence, the PC where the file was uploaded can be identified by the timestamp of $sim. In case of Google Drive, each file had the timestamp patterns as shown. In the Google Drive, when actions were performed on a local PC, we made sure of the same result as Dropbox. But, unlike Dropbox, Google Drive recorded file stamp up to 10 to the power of -3. So when a remote PC and local PC were synchronized, the fractional parts of the timestamp after 10 to the power of -4 became 0. From now on, I will describe it as fp-0 fp minus 4, 0. For example, when copy was performed on a remote PC, $sim and $fnm became the same, and both values changes to fp minus 4, 0. Next is, in case of Mega, each file had the timestamp patterns as shown. We find that Mega produces similar results to Dropbox and Google Drive when performing actions on a local PC. Mega did not record fractional parts on timestamp, which means that when file attribute was altered on a remote PC and was synchronized with a local PC, the fractional part of timestamp became 0. On a remote PC, regardless of the UCMR, $SIM and $FNM became the same and changed to FP0. Therefore, it was not possible to determine what action was taken through the file's timestamp when the file was uploaded from a remote PC. However, it can be inferred that the file was uploaded from a remote PC based on changes in the timestamp's fractional part. We present the timestamp patterns for changes made to files by cloud services, PCs, and users' actions. The analysis showed that each cloud service had identical results for certain actions. Then upload or copy from a local PC. Three cloud services show the pattern $SIC equal $FNMACE. When move or rename on a local PC, or all three services show the pattern $SIM equal $FNM. While the patterns were not identical for remote PC action across all three services, the overall trend was similar. However, Mega can have overlapping patterns for different actions. This is an inevitably derived result from abbreviating non-overlapping patterns. So there is a limit to clearly identifying the type the action performed on a file only with the timestamp pattern. From now on, we propose a decision tree model for cloud services that the examiner efficiently can use the timestamp pattern, comparison, and analysis during investigations. If the timestamp of the files in the cloud folder was acquired from the suspect's PC, the patterns can be derived and the location of files upload, action execution, and action performed can be estimated through the model. By comparing the patterns obtained by checking whether the fractional part of the timestamp is 0 or not. It should be noted that Google Drive records files stamped up to the third decimal places when synchronizing, unlike Dropbox. Here is the conclusion of our study. The investigating of cloud requires complex procedures such as CSP's cooperation or international cooperation. And there is a low probability of finding artifacts related to the use of cloud computing services on the suspect's PC. So we analyzed the changes in the $MFT file timestamps of local and remote PC's cloud sync folder when specific actions were performed. As a result of conducting UCMR, we confirmed timestamp pattern differences to distinguish the location where the file was uploaded and the location was performed on the file. At the same time, we are able to infer the access to the remote PC by the characteristic of fractional parts changing to 0 when files are synced through cloud. But however, there are some limitations in distinguish the PC because some file operations performed by a user can result in same timestamp patterns, especially when the file was uploaded from a remote PC. And errors occurred in some experimental where file operations were performed by user, non-programming, resulting in irregular timestamp changes. So further research is needed to identify the cause of timestamp changes resulting from such minor errors. And so we will conduct the following follow studies to generalize the results. We will expand the experimental cloud services 3 to 7 and verifying the timestamp pattern rules using timestamp tools. This is end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, please let me know on chat or email. Thank you.
Do you want to receive the question from the audience to your email? Thank you for the excellent presentation. And time is perfect for our schedule. Ms. Kim presented a method for determining the action taken by a suspect on a file and whether it occurred on a local or remote computer through timestamp analysis of MFT entries for files in the cloud. Sorry, please leave some question on the chat site. And I prepared some questions, so please provide a specific example of where this research could be used. I think as you mentioned, child exploitation materials and industrial secret information.
Sorry, oh, I can hear the pardon.
I want to know the I want to know the how to use this research
In investigation progress.
a specific example.
Yeah.
Investigation and whatnot.
We just present timestamp pattern for this study, but I have the plan. We will design an algorithm to identify timestamps specific to each cloud service. So based on this algorithm, we expect to develop a program that can determine the behavior and usage location of files by inputting their timestamps. So this program can be used for investigative purpose. So, and I present the decision tree. If you extracted the file timestamps patterns, you can track the timestamps pattern by clouding services.
Okay, thank you. And in the last presentation, in the last page of your presentation, you mentioned there are some limitations. Your analysis focused on creating, copying, moving, and renaming our files. So you did not include deletion in your experiment. Why did you not include deletion in your experiment?
Actually, we performed actions such as compression, decompression, and deletion during the experiment, except that UCMR actions. But in the case of deletion, there is no file record left in the MFT entry, or the timestamps has not changed. So we excluded these results from our analysis because we did not obtain any significant patterns for.
Okay. And you mentioned there are some error occurred. So you mentioned the illegal timestamp changes. So I want to know how do you interpret the irregular timestamp changes? You delete the irregular timestamp changes? It is out of your research scope? Hello, can you hear me? Oh. Okay, I rate her. Okay, I will proceed my schedule, our session, and okay, okay. There is some technical issue. So I will ask again. In your last page of your presentation, you mentioned there are some error. There are some issues. Some error occurred. So you mentioned illegal timestamp changes. I want to know, how do you interpret the irregular timestamp changes? Do you exclude irregular timestamp changes in your research scope?
We analyzed the case of illegal patterns. I think it occurred from the minor technical errors from users. Example, the seeing file thumbnail or file information, it can be changed the access time. So in case of that, we can not obtain the timestamp patterns for another experimental trials. So actually the exact reason is under analysis for irregular patterns occurs.
Thank you. And the handling of errors in the experiment is important, I think so. And it's the last question to you. Do you have any plan for the virtual analysis? Do you have another plan? Any plan for further analysis?
I described on presentation. We expand the experimental cloud services 3 to 7 plus 4 cloud services and verify the timestamp pattern rules using timestamp tools and design the algorithm based on develop a program can determine the behavior inputting timestamp patterns.
Okay. I hope you will be the best digital forensic examiner in cloud computing. I hope.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and your answer. Okay. The first session of the Cybersecurity Revolution 2023 has come to an end. I hope you all found the presentation informative and thought-provoking. I would like to extend my sincerest thanks to our distinguished speakers for sharing their expertise and research with us today. Your contributions has been invaluable. As we move forward into the next session, I encourage you to continue engaging with the speakers and each other to further the discussion on digital forensics and cybersecurity. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor I will deliver my microphone to the Professor Chad Whelan from Deakin University, Australia, who will be taking over as co-organizer for the next session. Thank you all for your participation, and I look forward to seeing you next year with even more exciting topic. Thank you.